Thanks for being with us here on Facebook Live on our digital platforms. We are tracking Tropical Storm K as it makes its closest pass to San Diego County right now. Tracking a little bit of rain in the forecast as we start off the day. You can see what satellite radar imagery looks like as we start off the morning. I'm Evan Nurani, just got off of 4.5 hours of telling you about that rain and thunderstorm potential for the day today on our morning newscast on CBS 8 as well as on the CW. And now we are here on Facebook Live to give you the lowdown, a little bit of an extended forecast on what to expect into your weekend, of course. Now, just a little backgrounder ahead of what's on the screen as we speak. We're coming on the heels of about 10 days straight of excessive heat across San Diego County. This brought dry conditions for the most part, sunny skies out there, and now a dramatic shift in the forecast that is bringing us cooler temperatures for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But today, we're hanging on to the warmth. If you were with us this morning, overnight lows were mostly in the 80s. Still, we're hanging out in the 80s, and it looks like this afternoon we could climb to the 90s. So that excessive heat warning that was originally set to expire yesterday afternoon and evening instead has now been extended for an additional day through today. So right now, as we look outside on our satellite radar imagery, you can see just how much activity is starting to pop up. A little bit of a dramatization compared to what we're actually seeing out there. Most spots have recorded drizzle, light rain. That's what we're seeing outside. But I want to give you kind of the bigger picture of what we're tracking to the south of us. This is the outer band of now Tropical Storm K making its way from south to north. That's the international border right there with Mexico. Right now, northern Mexico, that Baja Peninsula getting plenty of rain, and that rain is now headed north in our direction. So here is our county starting to pick up on that rain as we speak, and it is only going to pick up and gain momentum as the day goes on. So let's take a look at the watches, warnings, and advisories that we have for you into the rest of your day today, as well as through your weekend, of course. For starters, these are layered on top of each other. So I kind of want to run through the timing and the location of each of them. I'll start off on the right-hand side of your screen, aerial flood watch, anticipating rivers, creeks, streams to rise. If you live on any flood-prone floodplains, for example, then you might start to see some flooding in the area. Keep in mind, an aerial flood watch, much different than a flash flood warning. That can come into play if we start to see the rate of rain pick up substantially. So drizzle likely won't bring us anything related to a flash flood, but we could still see aerial flooding if that drizzle or light rain starts to continue for 24 or 48 hours or so. High wind warning is layered on top of that. So that aerial flood watch extends all the way to your coastline. Looks like this high wind warning is coming into play today all the way through midnight. You have already probably felt the wind out there. In some cases, we were feeling the wind ahead of the rain. So it was a windy start to the day, palm fronds all over San Diego County, blowing in the wind. So keep us updated, be our eyes and ears, please. We love seeing your photos and videos that you submit to us on the CBS 8 app. You can always send those our way. Just use the CBS 8 app, click on the Near Me tab, and send any photos and videos that you've got. You're the ones who tell us exactly what you're seeing in your neighborhood. Now, on top of the high wind warning, we also have the excessive heat warning. So 3 things in play right now for your coastal communities and inland valleys. Excessive heat warning now extended through 8 p.m. today. This is day 10 of it. And along with all 3 of these for your land, on the water, we actually have a beach hazard statement, which means that the wave heights that we're seeing associated with Tropical Storm K are increasing to about 6-7 feet at times. So beach hazard statement in play along the coast. We're also seeing marine water statement, meaning it is pretty dangerous to get out there in the water. Keep in mind, K right now about 200 miles off of our coast and just veering off to the west now, clearing its way out. We're getting the more residual activity. So we know there's been a lot of talk about what this means for us. Is a hurricane headed towards San Diego? No, the answer is no. We are not seeing a hurricane make its way to San Diego, but we are instead seeing the closest pass, about the closest we've seen a hurricane come or a tropical storm come to San Diego in about 25 years or so. So it is a substantial period of time since we've seen any tropical weather our way, and it is very tropical at that. Might feel a little bit like Hawaii out there. We're in the 80s, widespread 80s to start off the morning. So very hot, very humid, and now we're starting to get some drizzle out there. 85 in Oceanside right now, 84 in Encinitas, 82 in Poway, and 84 in El Cajon. Some of these overnight lows were closer to 90 degrees. So you get the idea. It's not exactly constant drop in temperatures until we get into tomorrow. Your Saturday and Sunday will present a much cooler trend of weather as opposed to today, where we're sticking with those pretty warm temperatures. So rain in the forecast across the board today. You can see how pretty much every single microclimate, coastline, inland, mountains, deserts are all going to be working through rain throughout the course of the day. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s along the coast. Wind is a threat as well. Gusts are going to be most intense over the mountaintops, but even closer to the coast, we could pick up on 50-mile-per-hour gusts. That's why that high wind warning is in play as well. And you can see the 90s that we have for your inland valleys as well as your deserts. Hey, despite the fact that these temperatures are pretty hot out there, keep in mind they're much cooler than what we saw just a couple days ago. Deserts were trending around 115 degrees. We're now about 25 degrees cooler than that. Still in the low 90s out there. Inland valleys were mostly in the triple digits for just a couple days ago, and now we're down to 90 degrees flat. So when we talk about the winds, these are easterly winds, meaning they are compressing over the mountaintops and they are very hot. These are not cold breezes coming through. So we're getting hot air coming our way. We're also picking up on the remnants of this soon-to-be post-tropical cyclone. 65-mile-per-hour gusts in Julian right now. That's where gusts seem to be very intense, is over the mountaintops. Some models push us all the way up to about 80 miles per hour for those gusts. And then it looks like as you get closer to the coastline, we'll start to see those gusts die down just a bit, around 50, 60 miles per hour. Winds lighten up tonight into tomorrow. That's where we start to see some improvements out there. So you see how as we go into midnight and then into Saturday, we do see some wind still in the forecast, but not nearly as much. All right, let's talk about K, right? K right now, just about 200 miles off the coast. Baja Peninsula is where we've seen plenty of rain. Tropical storm as we speak, and then going to fizzle out just to the west over the next couple days. So winds right now sustained with Tropical Storm K, 50 miles per hour. Speed of the storm itself is moving at about 13 miles per hour northwest. We are going to continue to see these rain showers pop up on our screen. Here is San Diego County specifically. Areas of orange and red are of prime concern. That's where we see the threat of thunderstorms kind of embedded in this outer band. So when we go into the next couple hours, you can see how these storms are scattered all across the screen, mainly impacting the mountains and deserts, but coastline and inland could still pick up on plenty of rain. Hard to pinpoint exactly where we're going to see showers and when. That's because these showers are sporadic in nature, isolated, sporadic, scattered. So we see that going into 6:30 or so, southern half of the map there, mainly south of the 8, we're going to see plenty of potential for those showers and thunderstorms. They'll move mainly north as we go into the overnight hours from Saturday into, or from Friday into Saturday, I should say. And then for Saturday early morning, probably going to stay dry for a period of that, still cloudy out there. And then for the afternoon, those sporadic thunderstorms are in play Saturday afternoon. By Saturday evening into Sunday, we will dry out. If we run our models all the way through today and tomorrow, and then pause this at about 2 a.m. on Sunday when all of that wet weather is letting up, here's what we see as your total accumulation. So along the coast, these models have trended in the downward direction over the last about 12 hours or so. That's good news. That means less rain in the forecast, but still anticipating about half an inch to an inch along your coast and through your inland valleys. Poway, 0.4 inches, so 0.4 of an inch, half an inch for Alpine, Ramona, 0.8 of an inch, 0.7 for downtown San Diego, maybe only about 1/10 of an inch up in Oceanside. Heaviest accumulations are going to come over the mountains and deserts, 2 to 4 inches in the forecast for areas like Julian and Mount Laguna. So let's take a look at your forecast highs here. 90s in play for the afternoon, 90 for Escondido, 89 for Ramona, 93 for Vista, 94 for Oceanside. You see why we're still sticking with that excessive heat warning for the day today before those temperatures finally start to drop down. So how cool will we get? Well, here's the 8-day forecast, the coveted 8-day. How's the next week going to treat us? Well, looks like those hot temperatures stick around today, and then we'll all cool down from tomorrow all the way through next week. Temperatures stay pretty stagnant for most of next week, but they'll be in the more average range, 70s along the coast, 80s inland. All that wet weather will start to subside for your coastline and inland by the time we get into Sunday. Still a chance for maybe a few light scattered showers, but otherwise today and tomorrow are the prime days. Today especially with more widespread activity. Tomorrow with the thunderstorms that'll come kind of intermittently. You know what that's like. Clouds outside, still pretty warm outside, dry for maybe a couple hours, and then a 20-minute downpour before you see dry conditions again. So we're going to start to see that come into play more likely tomorrow as opposed to the constant drizzle that we might see for this afternoon. Into next week, dry skies, 80s for your inland valleys. Mountains will likely hold on to those showers and thunderstorms all the way through the day on Sunday, and then see dry conditions for Monday and beyond. Keep in mind your deserts are cooling down double digits as opposed to the triple digit heat that we saw for the last 2 weeks or so. Mountains are cooling from the 90s down to the 70s. So a lot of improvements in the forecast into next week. We're continuing, of course, to track K and the remnants of it as it veers off to the west and makes its closest pass, at least to us here in San Diego.